It's the perfect water to be drinking right after the Olympics. That
True.
Norris water.
Norris Water, 100%.
That Carlos.
Did we start?
Norris, yeah.
Did we start it already?
Yeah.
Did you fucking announce
Jumped
it?
in, yeah. Damas y caballeros, ladies and gentlemen, bienvenidos.
Oye.
Al show. Vida en cero gravity. Life in zero gravity.
Yeah,
Oh
my God.
Las vibras.
You've gotten
You
so
know
much
the
better.
vibes.
You've gotten so much better at that. What the fuck? Okay.
I do it every week. Why, thank you, sir.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's honestly awesome. You got so much better at it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. We're honestly just jumping back from where we were the last time. So we did one episode not so long ago. Sorry.
Yeah.
I know. Sorry to be a spoiler alert. We're recording 2 episodes back to back. So if you
It's
listen,
the first time.
if you're listening to
actually.
last week, basically we're just doing it in the same fucking studio session. It's just that you think it's a week apart. So you're just like, oh, okay, like fucking A, by God's sakes. But yeah, now we're actually recording this session in one go.
Yeah.
And so last week you heard one part of the episode. It's not like we came back 2 separate times. It's like we're in the same fucking studio space.
I feel like we're ruining the magic.
Fuck it. We are the magic. Don't you
That's
dare
true.
say that. We are the magic. It's
See, I got my Retro Volt shirt on now.
yeah, he's got his retro. I've been dressed the same for one fucking week. Apparently, Rodney King discovered America according to fucking Born and Raised.
Fuck the white man and his books.
Fuck the white man and his books.
Oh,
all
damn
that
it.
shit.
We're a minute in. No, it's all good. It's my fault.
Why didn't you tell me? Why did you gaslight
No,
me? Like
I did it. I said
that's
it first.
true.
It's my
But
fault.
it
I
gaslights
gotta take
me
the L.
to like say that back. Shit. Okay.
It's all good. Now you said that. So.
Yeah, we covered a lot in the last episode. I mean, well, not
Yeah.
really. I feel like we covered fucking 3 topics, and it was just me playing my show.
The Olympics is a big thing.
It was about
There's a
me
lot to
playing
do
my
on
show in Anime Expo, and then it was on top of that, like we were talking about the Olympics, and then we talked about Deadpool. We got somewhere about the boxing lines, about like what kind of fights could happen inside the Olympics, like basically like different degrees of just like Taekwondo martial arts and shit like that. No, I wanted to continuing off from last episode. I wanted to continue off of saying the what was it? The fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
And did you see that actually like canceled it and then reestablished it, saying that it's going to be an actual fight because he wants to go on the record? At first, it wasn't going to be on the record.
Oh, who wanted to be on the record?
Tyson, because apparently Jake Paul said something about Mike Tyson's daughter, and then Tyson didn't like that, or he's like, "Fuck you!" Like, I'm going to take you actually where this is going on a record. So here's the thing: so this is going to be Mike Tyson's last recorded fight, so he can either go down as a champion of like knocking this fool out and getting a KO, because the last 2 fights that Tyson had before this, he lost, right?
Well, he had that. So he had that Roy Jones one, which was like exhibition, which they called it a draw, but like Tyson won. It was an exhibition though. Like most people thought, like, I mean, it's kind of funny to say who wins an exhibition, but it was pretty clear, I think, that he won.
Exactly,
which you would think. I mean, he's like naturally heavier than Roy.
True, he is older in his age now, so that at this point, like, if Mike Tyson loses to Jake Paul at this point, though, dude, like, that's going to be a pretty big L. Like, your last recorded fight to lose to that fucking clown. So I'd be like, come on now.
But I think most people would be like, oh, well, he's old.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's like almost 60.
I literally feel like a lot of these fights are modded for like fighters like Jake Paul. They're like, oh, what is it, like 8-minute, 2-minute rounds? Like, who the fuck has 2-minute rounds? Like, what the fuck? That's not like a boxing match. That's like literally like a play thing. Honestly.
I think most of his fights are different, but this one they put up like some weird rules.
I don't know, honestly. So
the thing is, like, I'm not a Jake Paul fan, but it's kind of silly to me when people are a little too critical, because it's like, this guy didn't have like an amateur boxing career. No. And he's fighting people that are actual fighters. Like, even if they're old or they're MMA fighters, like, they have a lot more fighting experience than him. So it's kind of, that part's always kind of silly. It's like, I don't like this guy, but he's fighting, like, for the most part, like, competition that's pretty fair for a total beginner in a sport.
I guess in a sense.
But with Tyson, it's like, okay, this feels like really you're kind of picking on an old man.
So really one-sided. I mean, he fought Silva, right? He fought Anderson Silva,
which I'm like, that's not a bad fight, because it's like,
Goku the GOAT.
Anderson Silva's old, but at the same time, like, that's one of the best fighters ever. Even if it's not his forte, it's like, that's still dangerous. Like, the average person is not going to beat Anderson Silva even now.
Thank you guys for joining the live, by the way. I know it's just that, like, here's the thing: he's just going after these people to get some kind of clout behind him, that thinking that he can be like the greatest fighter, and like he has, like won some people. But I mean, people do speculate that it is more rigged in the sense to favor him to the winning earnings. Could be like, I'm taking on the greatest fighters and I'm winning and I'm this person, but then also like the money that comes along with it and the politics. So
yeah, people think it's like rigged, but he didn't lose. So if it was rigged, he probably wouldn't.
I mean, here's the thing though, like it's just like you gotta believe that these things are happening for a certain amount of reason. Like freaking, for instance, like what's his name? McGregor taking on fucking what's it, Mayweather. Like that was like for sure like a whole entire experience of them just being like the biggest MMA fighter versus the biggest boxer. And even though like McGregor lost, it's still more of a thing like, well, who really won though? They were doing this for like, see how much collateral money they brought into the thing like that.
Yeah,
and then that's what I think all that Jake Paul and Logan Paul are fishing for, is they're learning the prospect of how to manipulate the game and then be like, let's just get fucking paid for it. And then where Tyson now is like, I don't give a fuck about the money. Like, I really just want to knock your ass out to show like how much of a fucking fake fighter you are at this point.
Yeah, because Tyson is really like a boxing historian.
Yeah.
No, like
thank you for the follow, guys.
People wouldn't know that, but he's like, he really is like he knows like all of boxing history.
Yeah,
Tyson, like it's not like even more than most fighters. Like he could probably tell you about some fight from the 30s.
I mean, Jake Paul does train. Like you see his training videos.
He's a real fighter.
Yeah, he's like, a real fighter. He's training and shit like that. But then you see Tyson's fucking training remedy, and you're like okay, like this guy's going to war.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is a compelling event because like if he was anywhere near his prime, you wouldn't even question it. But it's just the fact that he's that old.
Tyson in prime is just like rageful. It's so good. Even Tyson's like, I didn't like the person I was becoming, like being that person, because it was just entirely different than what I want to do. Like it was just like animosity at that point. I always feel like it happens in movies, and I feel like it happens in fighting. Like there's always a fighter that's like prepping to go to war, and then there's always another fighter that's just like fucking playing house or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Let's play.
Yeah, like okay, I'll give you examples right now. Okay, so Star Wars, Anakin's over there fucking trying to bone Padme, and you're like, boo, I love you, like on fucking Naboo. And then meanwhile, Obi-Wan's over there trying to prevent a war and spying on shit like that. And then fucking okay, Lord of the Rings, fucking the Hobbits, like the Hobbits are not the Hobbits. The dwarves over there trying to fucking play house, trying to reclaim their home and their land. Like, we don't have a place to go. And then Gandalf's over there doing solo missions like, fucking war's about to break out. I'll even go a step further. Godzilla versus Kong. Godzilla's prepping for war, getting radioactivity, and Kong's like, I want to get my home back. And Godzilla's like, I'm ready to fucking throw down right now.
My son.
Yeah, dude. Like, Godzilla's prepping for war where Kong's playing house, dude.
Kong has a redheaded stepchild.
Exactly. He does have a redheaded stepchild in the movie. And Kong's over there getting dentures and shit. I'm just like, no, let's see.
Yeah.
Who will win in the Mike Tyson or Jake Paul? I mean, I got to say Tyson. I mean, as much as fucking Jake Paul's like an actual fighter, though, like I would say like Tyson's out for blood. I mean, like I said, he canceled the fight because he wants to basically make this go on the record, where Jake Paul didn't want this to go on the record. It was just being like more of a money grab.
They said he was having some health issues too.
Tyson or Paul?
Mike Tyson was.
I wouldn't doubt it. How old is he now? Like
he's close 60? To 60. I think he's late 50s.
Yeah, I thought it was already 60. I thought it was like 61.
I want to say he's like around our parents' age.
Yeah, so but if that's the case, I mean, he really wants us to, because Jake Paul said something about his daughter where he was just like, I don't want to fuck with that. So like, now I'm gonna fucking take you up on this opportunity where I'm gonna just whoop your ass.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting. It'll say a lot. So when that fight actually happens, I feel like the vast majority of people are going to be rooting for Tyson.
Yeah.
It'll be really interesting to see who's rooting for Jake Paul, because like, who likes that guy?
There's been quite a lot of people rooting for Jake Paul. I mean, obviously, like fucking like models and like newer, younger generation,
like the
and
YouTube
shit. But even there's people like our age and younger that are fucking still like, Jake Paul's gonna win this. And it's like, bro, like what the fuck? Like, no, like he's literally got
nothing
going. I haven't
seen anyone,
but people are just kind of like
really
kind of dumb. I think they don't know the statistic of it all. I just think some Mike Tyson, just like some washed up boxer that's been in some movies as an actor here and there.
I forget
The Hangover.
Sometimes I forget my circle does not represent everybody though. Like the people I follow, I haven't seen anyone that was like, yeah, let's go Jake Paul for that fight. But I forget that there's got to be people that are in that, you know.
I mean, let's be honest. People thought Drake was going to win the fucking rap beef. And we're like, are you serious right now? Actually, you know what? That's a good pinnacle point to bring this to. I feel like it's an artist versus an entertainer, because like how we said beforehand, like
that's what Rakim was saying about that beef.
Yeah, it's literally artist versus entertainment, because Drake's a particle of the entertainment industry, and then Kendrick's an actual artist putting into creativity mindset. Like about writing his own stuff. Same with Jake Paul and like Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
Mike Tyson's an artist of his fucking
Yeah.
craft, and then Jake Paul is just trying to look for the
Sweet
entourage.
science.
He's looking for the entourage of getting money, trying to actually make a creativity, not even make creativity. He's trying to raise the funds just to get rich off this shit. Drake, that's Drake. Drake literally just cared about the money.
I think he does have a love for the sport, and I think
you have to. In a sense.
I think that there is a. I think that I wouldn't say Drake doesn't have a love for music, but
no, he does.
I feel like he loves the fame that comes with
exactly.
it.
He loves the idea of hip hop and like the fame that comes with it. Same with Jake Paul. Jake Paul has
being
love.
Accepted.
Jake Paul has a love for the sport of boxing because he obviously chose it for a reason. But at the same time, it's more of an entertainment purpose than it is an art craft. You know,
because I think he's a really insecure person.
Yeah,
that's a way where if I make hits, then people have to respect me.
I mean, in a sense, too,
you know,
Kendrick Lamar basically came from rags to riches because Drake already had his hand in the entertainment industry. For one,
he's a nepo baby.
Yeah, he is a nepo baby.
His dad and uncle are musicians.
Exactly, his dad and uncle are musicians. On top of that, like he already had his foot in the door, and then he was on Degrassi, which makes him an actor and already had his way to kind of become like a music entertainer or like a music personnel. Yeah. And then where Kendrick was just off the street trying to raise fucking his own career off of like, you know, mixtapes and learning how to fucking network with people. So
he was a battle rapper early on.
Yeah. So people are like, oh, Kendrick like owes Drake shit because Drake like introduced Kendrick. It's like, dude, that's what networking is. You're fucking networking with people that are bigger than you to help you get where you want to be.
Yeah.
You would be nothing without the like, you know, it's not about how well like, you know, what is the fucking saying? It's about who you know and not what you know, honestly.
Yeah, pretty much it is.
That's
it's not about talent. Particle. That's the thing that people don't get. And even with the hits, I don't know if do you see the Drake fans they're like the sorest losers I think I've ever seen.
I mean, people defend their favorite artists until death. Sometimes people are like, "I die for that person." I'm like, you don't even know them.
It's just like that's a mental illness, I think.
Oh yeah, to idolize people like that
to the point where you feel like you have to defend everything and just like do all these weird like logic leaps that just don't make any sense.
Because people feel this certain connection. I mean, don't get me wrong, music is powerful enough to the sense where like it really does resonate with something soulfully in you. But at the same time, like you don't know these people. Like to say that you're gonna die for them is just a whole big miss. Like, whoa.
And to be honest, I don't think Drake thinks much of the average person. I don't think he respects the average person very much.
Thank you for the cupcake.
So it's funny when these people they'll use his money and stuff as like, oh, he's really winning. And it's like you see the stuff he says. He doesn't respect the average person.
No, he doesn't.
Like when he went off on Joe Budden about like, oh, you live in a
Joe
in a nice
Budden deserves
suburb.
to be gone off on though. Let's be realistic. Joe Budden's a fucking annoying piece of shit.
He wrote this whole paragraph about it, or like a couple paragraphs where it's just like, this applies to like 99% of your fans. Like you realize this, right? Mm-hmm. You dissing Joe Budden for living an average life basically is like, what do you think most of the people that buy tickets go through?
I don't know, dude. It's just like a whole big thing about this shit. So
it just
my bad.
But somebody like that who's grown up and has always had money doesn't know what it's really like out there. It's like they haven't
because you had to fucking like, you know, suffer through it. There's like, you know, a fucking craft you learn how to grow and develop with, and like not to sound like, I mean, everyone's probably gonna be like, who cares, like how your story evolves and stuff like that. But Drake pretty much had everything handed to him. Both of his his dad and uncle were musicians. He met up with Wayne. He was already an actor, so he already has his foot in the door somewhere or another. So of course he's gonna be on the stage and have a bigger presence than Kendrick or those people because like he's already been in that like whole has had his hands dipped in the entertainment industry.
Oh, Jay Prince too.
Yeah, Jay Prince too.
Jay Prince is like he's like this shadow figure who really was more relevant in the 90s, but he's like this guy that like he's sus. There's a lot of stuff that's happened around him, and that was like Drake's like, you know, that's part of his inner circle for a while.
Exactly.
So that's how he got
Quinn and Miller and stuff like that. All the people that got him where we want to be like learn how to flow. And then that's another thing too. People get mad about like, was it like a Soldier Boy where he's like, he stole my flow? A lot of people, the whole thing with X too. That's something I'm like, why do people forget about that? Honestly,
people still think he got X killed or whatever.
That's kind of wild, honestly. If
that's ever seen that?
Yeah,
like that whole that's like a whole.
Well, I know Kendrick touched on it a little bit too, and people were like, touch more on that, like fucking like we want to hear more about that, but I'm not sure if that's what they want to bring it up to.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I don't know. And then knowing his fans would be like, oh, look, mob ties for real, like those lames.
Yeah.
Like,
No lames. Sorry, no.
They
lames.
would say something like that. You know how they are. Yeah. It's like, yeah, nobody want to mess with
Moditor. You want to be a mod? Can I be a mod? Mod Rashad, sure.
You a moderator?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I know, right?
We're both gonna get dumped.
I know, we're gonna get dumped real quickly.
You're gonna dump the audio. That's
funny. What was I gonna say though? I mean, besides, I know we got into the topic about boxing, and then we got on the topic of freaking Kendrick Lamar and Drake again.
Kendrick Lamar.
I mean,
I do think Kendrick kind of fumbled by not dropping more music now, though.
He dropped more music than we've seen in a while, though, and he had a free concert.
He probably should have had something ready to go. Yeah. All that promo, and you don't do anything with it.
True. Like, I mean, there's an album teased apparently that he's gonna have an album.
Where's it at? Where's the album?
Where it at though?
Does it come out in like 3 years or what? Like, you got all the momentum now.
That's the thing with remember Gorillaz? Remember Gorillaz used to drop an album every fucking 5 years?
Yeah.
And I used to love that because it made you feel very like, I don't know, emotionally connected and invested in such like great music. They took such like an art craft to make, and then now they're just like pumping out songs. Well, they're just jamming now, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, Cracker Island was good, but I feel like it was more of a jam session. A Song Machine was just nothing but jam sessions. Like it was just like them making songs with friends and like, we should make an album of this shit just so that we can have it on something. And then that's whatever it was.
Machine,
yeah.
And it was a lot of, that was like more underground.
Because every album was a 5-year gap. Okay, Gorillaz 1 to fucking Demon Days was a 5-year gap. Then fucking Demon Days to fucking Plastic Beach was a 5-year gap. And then same thing with that to Humans. Because I think actually Humans was, I think, 4, maybe?
Something like that.
I think it was 4.
It was a while.
Might have been 4. Yeah. It
was a while for sure.
Yeah. So I'm not sure.
And then lately they've been dropping it like every year, every other year.
Yeah, they've been dropping new music like almost every year or like every other month and stuff like that. And people are like, it's taking too long to drop. And I'm like, dude, I'm used to fucking waiting for like 5 years for the Gorillaz to drop some bullshit, man. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be time for them to take a little break.
Honestly, it'd be awesome if we could fucking get like another Gorillaz album within like another 6 years. Like, I would love to like be like, oh damn, now they're fucking like actually gonna release something after all this time, because they've been pumping out a lot of music.
Yeah, and if they just took the best that, you know, because now it's like, okay, if you cut some of these tracks, like this probably be a better album.
And everything's so like derivatively fucking quick, like analyzed into like music, fucking monetizing, fucking like also entertainment wise, everything's just given like in a moment's instant. People like soak it in, like, okay, next, like everything's just soaked in and like thrown out like a fucking machine. Like we're soaking in so much, we're not like really appreciating a craft because we're just intaking it like for a few seconds and then throwing it out, you know. And on top of that, people are making music like crazy, people are doing art like crazy, which is awesome. It's great. I think that's beautiful that people are like, you know, expressing themselves in that nature. It's just that there's so much intake now that it's just like we see it and like dismiss it. Like we're not really truly appreciating like how much of a craft it is, like unless we really want to take our eye to it in a sense. It doesn't mean you have to like everything. It's just you should just appreciate, you know, the craftsmanship that goes into some people putting all their fucking work on it. And there's a price tag on everything now. Like you make a piece of artwork, you make a piece of music, and automatically people are like, oh, you should put that on Spotify, or you should sell that. You should start selling your art, because then you're like wanting, like automatically people are thinking there's a numbers game where like, I'm selling my craft now. And like, this is how much it's worth. And when people want to pay that, like that's how much value you think you have towards that, which sucks.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to put like a fucking price on the stuff that you spent so much time and like love and effort on. And then to be shot down and like, oh, it's not worth that much. It's like, dude, come on. Like,
yeah.
Like it's really worth more than we actually think it is.
I think the people that aren't artists sometimes don't get that. It's just, to them, it's just like it's all about numbers and whatever. And
it is. It's a numbers game. It really is a numbers game.
But for me, like I don't care at all how much an artist sells. The only reason I care is if it's the difference between them being able to keep making music or not.
Yes.
Other than that, like I really don't care. You know, or like when good music finally goes #1 or whatever, like that's cool.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm just like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything about your art, really. Like,
no, because you shouldn't like hold your art to a standard of a sense that like that's how much value it has for how much of a price tag it is. Like your art is like, that's the craft you make. It's just the beauty. I feel like it's lost a certain nature or soul. Like, especially with digital. I mean, digital art's amazing. It's cool. I see so much cool fucking digital art, but I think there's something more spiritual about like art when it's made organically. like when art is made organically in the sense that like you're sitting there with the instruments and tapping it on, or if you're sitting there with like a brush and a pen and paper, like there's something that you're putting physically into it. I'm not saying that like digital art's not physical. It is. But I feel like there's more of a connection once you have something more organically to your nature, because you're still looking on a screen, you're still getting that blue light feed and stuff like that. You're making great stuff, but like I think there's something more naturally, spiritually that there is connected with what you're making that's amongst existent, and you kind of lose that the more we're going on with all this time. Everything's made on a pad, beat pads, fucking like digital arts and stuff like that. It's like how fucking Freddie Mercury said, everything's kind of pumped through a filter. It's just learned through an algorithm or a source where they know how to make certain chord structures to make like an iconic hit song. And then fucking, it's just not having the human spirit behind it, So
yeah. And there's,
I don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of people aren't playing instruments anymore. So that's part of it.
They are playing instruments, but in the sense that it's more digitally made, and it's more craft. And then we got AI voices fucking taking everything by storm. So I mean, Melodyne has always been a thing where you can pitch and you can alter voices, and auto tune. You could. It's always been there, but I feel like now it's more of a sense that it's just more like altered, and like you can totally change everything at this point. There's so much structure that's not there anymore. You're breaking all the rules, which you're meant to do. You're meant to break all the rules and reevaluate them into whatever sense you're making creativity wise. But I don't know. It's kind of a scary thing because on top of that, AI plays or AI made music, generated music and stuff like that, and how that's becoming a thing right now.
That's what Spotify is trying to create, and then they want to stop people.
And then there's a lot of court cases going on right now. They're like, if you're making music, say it's AI generated, and just be like, I made this track. See, that's. I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this. I don't like.
Fuck AI.
No, well that too. Like AI, and then there's also like, there's sample packs of like, you don't know how to make chords. Like here's this chord pack, and now you can make a song. Which like it's easy as gluing in. It's math. You're just gluing in chords together and then hearing how it sounds, and I made a beat. And that's amazing. Like, don't get me wrong, it's giving you you can make creative stuff. I've seen people do amazing stuff like that, but that's what I mean, that it's losing its soul. You're not emotionally invested that you're making these chord structures, you're playing them, and then you're investing yourself in something. You're just seeing something as a numbers game, and you're matching it like a video game. You're matching beats and chords like Tetris. A video game. It's Tetris, yeah. And you're not really actually having a physical connection of like playing stuff and making stuff go on. Like you have to have some kind of like connection to it, and I feel like there's none. It's just like you making it be, this is fire, this is hot, this is banging, and it's just like, dude, like you're not really doing anything besides just like. And then that's when oversaturation comes in. Then shit starts getting filtered out because there's just so much processed stuff like on the market, and they're oversaturating it to the point that you don't even know what to listen to because there's just the over market branding on it, and you're like, fuck, dude.
And most people only hear whatever the algorithm feeds them.
Yes.
Like they don't branch out. They only hear like a handful of artists, really, that whatever's being forced on them by the algorithm is like what they're hearing. Which is basically a lot of times whatever's getting the most money dumped into it.
So it's in a sense.
And I don't know. There really is. Think about like how music used to be. There was nothing digital. It was all people playing instruments. And I feel like now it's like, some people do, but for the most part, it's like people remixing shit that other people did.
Or
like
same with movies. Like movies are now all just books beforehand. There's no original shit coming out in some kind of sense.
That's just, I guess it makes you feel old, but it's like it's kind of disturbing the way it's treated.
It's not even old. It's not even us about becoming old. It's just like times are changing and in such a weird, different way. You know what I'm saying? And music's going a different kind of route that we never thought it was going to go to. Because then who's to say that like, music is going to have AI generated beats for people. And then like, they'll be like, but I sang on it. It's like, but nothing here is organic. It just was made AI wise.
Yeah. And then their voice is all auto-tuned.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Vocaloid, like 3D imaging fucking like artists are a real thing. Hatsune Miku. It's just a fucking digital performer, like, and it's just made synthesized. But that's still being played, though. Like, people are playing the instruments to make her voice, like, kind of go off and stuff like that. Gorillaz were the first fucking digital bands to be hologrammed on the fucking, like, the Grammys and shit like that. So
but but they were playing a lot of
exactly. So it's all a lot of real instruments and artists fucking like performing that kind of shit.
If you go to a Gorillaz show, there are a lot of actual instruments there.
And like members there playing that. I mean, who's to say though you're gonna go to a concert and it's just all AI generated though?
At some point, you're just gonna be like someone's gonna hit play on a computer and that's gonna be the whole concert.
Well, I don't know. I hope it doesn't come to that. It probably will come to that some point. Same with fucking EDM. I feel like EDM's kind of going the route where it's just like kind of like all becoming generically the same. And that term alone is a generic point of it because
EDM, yeah.
Because all of it is literally there's so many subgenres. There's like drum and bass, house, electro house, like fucking techno, trance, like dark sound, synth wave. Like there's so many genres of like techno, so to speak,
boop music,
but then fucking like but then like the demographic of like, you know, commercialism is like, that's too much, we're gonna call it EDM, which is electronic dance music. And it's just like, well, but then that's the same, like if you want to get anal about it, it's like, oh, that's dubstep, and it's like, no, we're calling that EDM. It's like, no, that's a different genre.
They kind of do that with every genre, though.
Exactly. Same with hip-hop. Like, I feel like hip-hop's
like I don't know, Kodak Black barely sounds anything like a Rakim or whatever. Like it almost
that's a difference too. Genre. Is I feel like rap is an entertainment thing. Like it's spiteful. It pivots like 1v1, like you against I, like kind of thing. Like rap is a thing where there's like a different it's competition. There's a different animosity towards it. And then like hip hop is for the culture. Like, you know, it's like uplifting. It's like has a certain groove to it, a certain soulful element to it. Like a hip hop is a whole different nature to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That always kind of, it always happens like just the, like with rock, how many different kinds of rock are there?
Yeah, exactly.
Gets grouped as like rock.
Same like metal.
There's like fundamentals of it where it's like, it makes sense in a way. It's like you have to put it in.
If you say that to a metalhead, they get so anal. They're like, I listen to metal. It's like, well, what type of metal? Like new metal, dark metal, sweet metal, fucking death metal. Like there's so much to it.
It's all in there.
Yeah, but if you're just like, I listen to metal, like whatever, poser, like they get so anal about it. So
and sometimes when people say they listen to hip hop and it's like some mumble rap, I'm like, it's not really the same. But I'm like, you know what? That's what it is, the same. I have to take it in. Like, unfortunately,
exactly.
Like, even if I don't like it, it doesn't matter. I'm not the gatekeeper of the genre.
I know.
Nobody really is.
I mean, it's like in the sense though, like just stay in your lane, create what you want to create, give it enough love and enjoy it. But like, then also comes like promoting it, because if you just like make what you make and then just like throw it out there, it's not gonna like promote itself, and it's just gonna get lost in the sauce.
Not gonna suck itself.
You can have them. That's the thing too. Someone could make the most amazing fucking piece of musical art and like post it, and then it could just be lost forever.
I always say one of my favorite things
you're throwing it in a pond, or you're throwing a rock into the ocean and it's just gone. Like you're like,
one of my favorite things to say is like, a lot of the greatest artists have never of all time we've never heard, you know.
Mm-hmm. You got a phone call right now. Yeah. Thank you, Goku the Goat. Jesus, you're amazing.
A lot of the best artists, like, we'll never hear them because they, whatever reason, like they were too shy, or like they gave up, like they didn't get the support, or they only wanted to make it for themselves and they didn't want anyone to hear it.
I know.
There's so much great art out there that gets ignored. It's just wild to think about to me sometimes.
Yeah.
Or they didn't get that push, whatever, you know. Or they tried the industry and the industry blackballed them because they said some shit they didn't like. Like,
it's
a lot of stuff like that.
Then you get canceled. Well, who gives a fuck about that, honestly?
It's a lot of stuff like that.
So. I know it sucks. I just feel like everything's getting filtered out, and it's kind of losing like a morale, like foundation. It's just becoming so. I mean, digitize is not a bad tool. Like, it's an amazing thing. We can actually have this source to like output all this shit like immediately and instantaneously. It's just that it's becoming like it's lawless right now. You know what I mean? Like, there's just no boundary line. Like, it's just so unhinged. It's fucking like it's the Wild West for music, pretty much. Honestly, at this point,
it's that Will Smith song.
Just
Wow West.
He doesn't have to cuss in his rap songs. But I mean, that makes us as artists have to find another way to like make this skill useful to us. Like, we have to become our own like we always already are our own managers. But it's also like, you know, the fact we have to be content creators. Who said that? Someone said that recently.
Schoolboy did.
Yeah, there you go.
That everybody's content creators. It's not about music anymore.
Yeah, pretty much.
I told you that's how I feel with that stuff. It's like, I just want to make music.
Yeah, because then like you have to showboat it. Like,
even though we're making content,
I know I'm pretty bad at it. Okay, I gotta say, like, I'm pretty bad at it.
You're better than most people.
But no, I mean, compared to people I see all the fucking time, dude. Like, okay, because I don't understand how you sit there supposed to record and like fucking like narrate yourself and then like focus on making a beat and shit. And I'm just like, dude, you have to fucking like, you have to showboat this and make it look glamorous in a way. And then I'm just like, why can't I just play? And then like you guys just.
But you got to think there are people whose sole goal is more that end. They don't care about the music. it's more about like, oh, I want to make content. I want to be a star.
Exactly.
And so like you're not one of those people, I don't feel like. So it's like your angle is like you actually want to make music and and not only that, you could probably take the easy route and just try to make dance music, but you want to make something more artistic.
Well, that's the thing too. Like people are always like, "Oh, you're a DJ." To me, okay, I think I said this on the air before. I think I've said this to your followers. Is that I don't even think I'm a DJ, like at all. Like honestly, I know how to use a board. I know to use Pioneer and all this. I hate using Pioneers, by the way. I really wish it's just industry standard. But here's the thing: DJs' jobs are to make people dance. Yeah, that's their job at the end of the day. It's essentially, and it's honestly like people are just playing drum and bass, tech house, fucking techno, fucking
future funk,
rhythm. I guess for future funk's like, but that's a different demographic. But here's the thing: is that like that's a whole standard, and I don't do that. Like it's just keeping continuous beat of just like and then like just for like hours just doing that.
It's like
and I like storytelling. I like fucking like I don't know. I love making like a broad introspection of creating a world and telling the story through it. And honestly, all this started with me making visuals and making music in my bedroom, like during fucking COVID and shit like that. But I think what it was is also it was making me release this pent up emotion in me and learning how to cope with society along with that. Because like all I know is that there was something inside of me that I had to release. And I'm like, how do I release this then? I need to find a tool or technique. And if that comes to music, then I need to find some type of musical notation in order for me to actually make this come currently into existence. And then I started doing that. And whether it's dance music or whether it's like heavy music, like I'm making like a story and I'm building a world. And then there's multiple times that remember you saying earlier, like, oh, I could be like everybody else. There'd be after hours and people would be like, oh, why don't you just bite the bullet and just play fucking like the music they're asking you to play, and then just like groove and vibe. And I just don't like it. I don't like that because multiple times would be like, send me a dance mix, and I'm like, I sent you a mix already, and they're like, no, like send me a dance mix. And I'm just like, I don't want to like send you guys as your formality. I just want to do it. And it's just stubborn. I know it sounds stupid. I know other artists probably hear me and they're like, that's dumb. Like you should just like play to play. Like don't worry, you're gonna get that kind of experience later. Like in the bloom out, just like pay your dues, which I paid a lot of dues, and I don't like it. Like I paid my dues of playing those shows, and I just feel like I don't, especially in Los Angeles, like I paid my dues playing those shows, and I feel like I don't find fun in it at all, because all it is after hours. You see the same crowd rotate through and through. It's all about like the same type of music, and once you get stuck in that world, then they keep in a loop of just playing that world, and you don't get out. Like you just play that same demographic. You're not really expanding yourself as an artist, and I really want to bloom as a fucking artist. So that's my thing, as I just want to really do that.
Getting stuck in that. I mean, and I guess there is also the whole thing of like they could get anyone to do that pretty much. So that you kind of feel like that, like where it's like you could get any DJ to like just spin dance music for a couple hours.
And then like it's the thing too, I meet other artists or other DJs, so to speak. I've met people that are old as fuck. They're like, I used to play after hours all the time. Like I was a great ass DJ. And I'm like, well, what happened? They're like, I just got caught in the world. And then now I found the Lord. So the Lord's part, I'm just like, I don't want to be that. I want to create.
You want to find the Lord?
No, the Lord is me. No, just I want to just build a world. I want to build what I want to build as an artist. I want to make a foundation of just who I am and what I have to describe and translate, whatever it is, whatever means necessary, whether it's through music, whether it's through the visualization, whether the artwork I display, all of that coexisting with one another to display this like artistry I'm trying to make. I mean, like, if you're a DJ and you just love playing at clubs and you love playing at beaches and you love playing at that kind of stuff, by all means do it. I don't give a fuck. That's your guys' sense. Like, I'm not shitting on that at all. That's needed. It's a very needed like art, and I think that's beautiful. And some people are fucking flawlessly amazing, so fucking good at it, and I'm just like, that's great. That's not me though. Like that's someone else. Like, and people used to say all the time, like, do you play weddings? Do you play like parties? And I'm like, no, like I don't do any of that stuff. Like I'm just playing what I want to play, and I know that sounds very stubborn, but I really am just playing what I really want to play. I mean, how do you feel about that as yourself as an artist? You know, like. When people say that you're a rapper, like, what are you doing? Fucking clown birthday parties and shit?
Well, it's funny because I was just about to say, like, a light bulb kind of went off, and I was like, that's how I feel about like a lot of the rap that's popular now.
Yeah.
I could make that shit and I could freestyle that shit and come up with probably better shit than they do.
Yes.
Like easy, simple fucking, I fuck your bitch while I'm fucking your bitch. Like all that type of stuff. I could do that so fucking easily. Man. I wouldn't have to write it. I could freestyle it.
Yeah.
I think you've heard me freestyle.
Yes.
Easily do that shit. I do that like just fucking around every day. But to me, that's just like, it's so, I get that because it's like, I don't want to make that type of music.
Yeah.
Like I like to make music that works on multiple levels. Where it's like, yeah, you can have fun listening to this, but if you listen to it, there's actually like a lot more going on.
Yes.
And it's like, it's always complex. Like if you listen to any of my songs, there's always like at least like a 3-syllable rhyme scheme.
Exactly.
Or like more than that.
That's a mathematic concept too.
Yeah. And like, most of the lines are the same length. Like so it flows perfectly. So it's like, I could easily do that shit that they do, but I get that. It is kind of like being a dance DJ. It's like making dance music. It's just, or like, hype music. It's like, that's cool. And don't get me wrong, I think we made a track like that, but it's also super lyrical.
Yeah.
Like recently what we recorded is that works, but that shit works on both levels. Or like on multiple
Here's
levels.
the thing too, like I'm pretty sure to a certain standard it kind of applies to you as well, but I feel like your craftsmanship takes like a kind of a different art level. The thing about a DJ is I feel like anybody could fucking do it.
Like play that?
Yeah, like legitimately, like to you, like kind of same, but there's more of an artist standard to be a hip hop artist. And for as like a fucking DJ, dude, anybody could do it, honestly.
Yeah, but there's a lot. I mean, the basic level of rap, a lot of people could do.
Yeah,
like.
True.
Yeah,
but
especially
still,
if they got ghostwriters.
To a standard, I'm Drake, but to a fucking standard, anybody could DJ. Like legitimately, anybody we can DJ. I've seen fucking kids do amazing.
That's true.
Shit,
the entry level of it is
way lower. Of the easiest for sure.
Because you don't have to actually know how to play an instrument or
No, you just know how to fucking beat match pretty much, and that's about it. So,
but
I don't know.
If you see a great DJ live, then you can really respect it. Like,
true.
Like hip hop has lost a lot of the great DJs. Like, you go to a hip hop show, it's like they're barely DJing.
Yes.
But it's a whole thing to it. Like you see, I don't know, Kid Koala live. Oh, DJ Jazzy Jeff, you were there for that,
Hubert.
right? Where he DJ'd for Rakim.
Oh yeah,
stuff like that is like. When you see those DJs,
Hubert's still one of them, and stuff like that. But I feel like those guys are unsung heroes, though. Those guys have so much like low listings, and you're like, dang, okay.
Yeah, it's like it's not as
A-Track's another one.
Breakbeat Lou is still going.
Yeah.
But there's like a lot of but it used to be more of a thing, and then now it's like they just play the song with the vocals on it. Like it's not even
Well, that's the thing too. A lot of DJs nowadays are just like pre-recorded, just do some simple little tricks, and people are like, "Oh my god, this is crazy, this is heavy." I'm like, it's really not that intricate at all. Like, it's really not hard. Like you're thinking that they're doing shit. Some people do. Some people know how to sample, loop, and like spin it back and do all kinds of crazy stuff like that, which is great. I think that's good that people know those skills. But for the most part, sometimes people just I've seen videos where dudes are just sitting in a chair and just pressing like a play button, and people are going losing it, thinking that they're actually mixing. And it's not really happening. That's the thing too. Okay, so I was discussing this with my stylist, and she was like, "Oh yeah, we're in like Greece, and like it was just fucking annoying because we weren't there at the club." But it's like, shut the fuck up, dude. But like their room was kind of next to the club area.
Yeah.
And the DJ kept saying like, everyone get ready to raise your hands up in the air. Who's ready to party? Get your ready to hands. Like, it was just like him just talking and not DJing. I'm like, and I've said this multiple times. I'm like, I fucking hate DJs that just talk through their whole set. 1, 2, 3, let's go. Like all that bullshit. And then they're like, oh, that's crowd engagement. That's them like being good. I'm like, no, dude. Like if you literally mixed more, and if you actually put an initiation to actually play better music, like you would have the crowd feeling that energy, and they'd be dancing, chanting, and fucking jumping without you having to say anything. Like, because I see that all the time. I see it on TikTok. I see it on like fucking live videos. Like dudes would pop up and be like, "Y'all ready to go? Like, let's do it. 1, 2, 3, let's go." And they're sitting there like fist pumping their air, like, and while the beat's still going, they're just sitting there like pumping their fist in the air and just like trying to get the crowd hype. Like it's a show. it's an act just to basically kind of be like a star. Like you're not being an artist, you're just being an entertainer. Like I keep saying this, I keep coming back to it, but there's a very big difference between
DJ Khaled. He always got to like let you know.
There's a difference between an artist and an entertainer, and entertainers are just there to fucking put on a show, and then actually artists are there to play a show.
Yeah, yeah, and then I don't know, like whenever you are going to a club, like a party, I feel like the best DJs, you don't hear them at all.
Yeah,
like,
right.
You know, like it's just a continuous flow of like jam to jam.
Yeah, like, and they're like, and they're working,
nonstop dancing.
They're working. That's what it is.
Like,
it's part of working.
When I saw Vantage, and it's like, oh yeah, this guy's he's just about business. You know?
Yeah,
it's like
and that's what it should be. You should not be sitting there screaming at the crowd, like tell them to raise their hands, do this, do that. Like you should be making them do that with the music you're playing. Like, okay, I know this sounds pretty stupid, but to me, it's a very big pet peeve of mine. And people are like, why though? Like, I'm like, because you're not actually fucking mixing it. When I hear scratches in a song and I don't see you fucking scratching, like it's so triggering to me for some reason. Like I get like red-eyed. I'm like, stop playing this, please. Like if you're not actually gonna like put the effort to learn like the art of scratching, then like you might as well just be using the sync button.
They're posers.
Yeah, you are. You're a fucking poser in my eyes.
Those metalheads said.
Yeah, you're a poser in my eyes if you're just sitting there playing tracks and like I hear fucking shit going on. I don't see you doing it. Like, nah, you're a poser to me, dude.
Yeah, and that's how I feel about rappers with ghostwriters. Is I'm like, anybody could rap if you wrote for them, especially with reference tracks.
Yeah.
So anytime when people act like that's not a big deal, I'm like, bro, you could rap if someone wrote that for you. Like, it's not, the rapping part is not the hard part. I mean, there's some, like, not everybody could flow like Busta Rhymes or whatever, even if you wrote them a track. That
takes skill though. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's an art craft. That's a skill. Like Busta's Busta for a reason, because he has his own art craft and narrative. So Eminem's Eminem for who he is.
Yeah, not everyone could rap like Eminem if you wrote him.
Method Man's Method Man for who he is, because he made this art. He's an artist of how he developed himself, how to be. Kendrick, same thing. He's an artist. Wayne, for instance, he has such a different sound that it's just, you know what Wayne is.
Or you know what? Honestly, if I wrote you my lyrics, you couldn't rap like me.
Exactly.
Because you couldn't do the intricate flows.
Yeah, or like the stuff that you taught yourself, like, oh, how can I make myself do this better, or how can I be that better of an artist? Like, how can I push myself to be a better like artist to present myself?
That's part of it, because anyone could do like a slow flow. You write them like some Dr. Seuss shit, and they just write some slow. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you could do that. That shit isn't hard. I remember there was a show where they did that. It was like where they had hip hop mentors, and it was like Too Short was a mentor to some Playboy bunny. I forget what the show was, but basically it's like, she could do the karaoke rap easily. Like that's easy. You know? You just gotta be on beat pretty much. I guess some people have no rhythm, so that's tough.
Exactly.
Yeah, but yeah.
It's something you learn. It is something you like. I adamantly learned, and I feel like people don't know that. It's like a craft that you really have to teach yourself.
Yeah.
And people are just like want the fame or like the fortune that comes with it, you know, like the kind of like, oh, there's glamour behind it. I want that.
And that's why with rock, let's say like a rock band doesn't write their songs, it's not that big of a deal, because it's like they still have to play the instruments. There's still like the vocal talent that they have to have. With hip hop, it's like, what are you doing if you're not writing your lyrics?
But I feel like there is that connection though. Like if you're writing, it's like a band's member or like a hip hop artist writing about a breakup. Like you have that connection of just being like, you have this emotion towards it. You know, you're like, I wrote this and I want to speak about this, and I want to like basically release that emotion out. You know, it's something that you want to speak about. Well, yeah, if you don't write it, I mean, not that bad, but still, like at the same time, there's more of a connection that you have. You're like, this comes from me. Like honestly,
it's a whole different thing. You know? Like so I don't know that. I guess the long story short with all this is like, we just have to protect real artistry at all costs.
It's gonna become like another thing. How like when Napster was like doing free downloads and artists weren't getting paid, and they're like trying to figure out how they can monetize it. Same thing now. I feel like with AI.
Honestly, it's arguably worse now with streaming. I feel like people are making less money.
Honestly, that's why I don't have I know this is stupid, and people are like, they're dumb, and I hear other people like, I make my money off like fucking Spotify, but I don't give a fuck about Spotify.
Yeah. Honestly, fuck Spotify.
Did I send you that thing about Snoop about like how he was talking about the streaming services? Yeah. Where he's all like,
I've seen it,
Where he's like, I don't fucking understand how you'd be getting millions of streams. You're not getting millions of dollars.
Billions of streams.
Yeah, and he's like, you're not getting millions of dollars. Like, what the fuck's going on? Like, where is that money going? Or how is that getting like brought back to me.
Add up.
It doesn't. And other people are like, I still get my money off like Spotify and shit like that. I'm like,
but
you're not getting what you should be getting. And I hear people all the time like, I get my money off Spotify. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, you're not getting the full amount. Like, you're literally kind of just like for like fumbling over to like whatever owns your shit, pretty much.
Yeah, for sure. And they're definitely like ripping you off.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Yeah, I mean, there is like vinyl sales are up and all that, so there's some hope out there. But still, it's like it is crazy, just like how. It feels like the companies just have gotten more and more power over time, where it's like now the guys that run Spotify are billionaires, and like the artists on there barely make anything. Yeah. But I mean, there's hope. There's hope for the future. We honestly just have to stick up for each other, and like, I mean, that video of Snoop, he was talking about like how artists got to come together like the film people.
Yeah,
they do really.
I've been saying that forever, dude. I was like, artists, like musicians, should have striked the entertainment industry like a long time ago.
Yeah,
I keep saying that. I'm like, why? I'm like, calming day workers strike against their companies. Why aren't artists and musicians doing it? I've tweeted that. And I feel like I've tweeted that and put it on threads, and it just goes unnoticed. Like people probably see it and they're like, okay, like they just like kind of like disregard it because it's talking about something really real. And I'm like, why are we not striking against these people? Like it's literally there for a reason. Yeah,
and I've said that too. I was like, honestly, we should boycott Spotify. Like
it should have been, but no one wants to or something. I don't know what the fuck it is. People are not taking the initiative to realize what's really going on.
And I mean, in a way, I'm half-ass boycotting Spotify because I haven't gotten a lot of my stuff back up on there because I'm just like, I don't really care anymore.
Yeah, I get you. I'm not conformed.
You can't get a lot of my stuff on Spotify now.
Yeah, I'm not conformed to Spotify, so I'm good.
Yeah. I mean, our album's on there.
Ours is, but as far as me, no, I don't do it.
I've actually never paid for Spotify, funny enough.
I did, and I stopped, and then I just now have it as a thing that's like a side thing, but no, I don't
use it for free.
Yeah, you use it for free.
Podcasts are good on there because it's it's like free. And they probably actually make money. You make more money off podcasts than you do off music. I know that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like I've seen it. Like, they'd pay you like a cent per play. They don't do that with music. It's like
no, dude,
a fraction of a cent.
Fucking, it sucks so much that like how much they just take our music and they're just like, okay, like now we're gonna fucking just keep it on. That was the thing too. When I was talking about the dude from Good Morning Music, he was telling me he's like some of the biggest names. Like literally, he's like even if you have like fucking like 100,000 followers like on fucking like any platform, like they will look at your craft and be like, all right, like we'll keep it here for now. And they'll leave it on the shelf forever unless it starts gaining attraction. Then they'll take it off and be like, oh, okay, this is gaining attraction. Let's fucking like actually push this forward to like soak up the fucking finances that we can get with it. That's all it's there for. It's there to like basically make them a finance. And if you don't bring anything to the table like that, then they don't see your art. And that's what some people don't think their artwork is like deemed worthy. They're just like, oh, this sucks. Like I thought it was gonna be something worthy of like, this kind of like, I don't know, attention, so to speak. So that.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how I feel.
That's my take on that bitter behalf of being an artist. It's hard out here for a pimp.
It really is. It just ain't rap. Pimping used to be easy.
Now these hoes are getting too smart for their own good.
No, it's
hoes
weird.
Being the music entertainment industry.
Sometimes I wonder if like the guys that run Spotify are like failed artists that are just like taking it out on the world.
Maybe that, or
that would make sense, right?
That, or they just know how to play this game and they don't give a fuck about the art itself. They're just
they don't have respect for the art.
Yeah, they're just like, I know how to play this numbers game and I'm gonna get as much money as physically possible.
And this is gonna be on Spotify.
Yeah,
we're gonna make money off this.
That's all it is. It's just
about that.
I'm pretty sure Spotify workers really fucking get paid out. Well, maybe, I don't know. I could be talking my ass. They probably get paid fucking chump change for all I know.
They probably do. I mean, those guys are billionaires, but everybody else is probably getting chump change.
Yeah, like the actual workers in the office.
That's the Spotify structure, I think.
So bad. Yeah, sorry, that went like a very not south route. It's just talking from like an artist perspective of like how we like see these things and perceive it as like, being part of it and growing up with it for years, for doing like music since like 10 years old and like kind of seeing how like it's progressed
Yeah.
I mean, like, we're not complaining. It's just more of just like, man, like, it's changing, and we're obviously changing with it, but it's just like how much too they're trying to rape the fucking. I'm using that word heavily. Sorry if that's triggering, but like it really is like they're just raping artists' rights and also like the craft they're bringing to the table and letting entertainment get away with it rather than fucking. It's like a beauty pageant, honestly. Like it's content creating. It's not about artists. It's about people just making content about it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And on top of that too, like I mean, TikTok's another thing too, where I see more commercials about like items being sold, and people have become advertisements now. People are now commercials. Like they're like, here, have this product and make a video about that, and we'll give you a certain percentage of the money that comes with it if it sells and stuff like that. And that's basically making people become live action like advertisements, like you become a billboard, like a living action billboard for like a lot of these products, because you're getting paid. Yeah, if you don't mind that, great. But I mean, you're not really making content for yourself. You're just trying to get the bag, which I mean, don't get me wrong, great. If you get in the bag, go for it. But I'm trying to get the bag. I'm trying to get the bag doing what I love, which is making my craft and art. I'm not trying to sit there and try to be a billboard for somebody else's company that I don't have fucking beliefs in.
Yeah, just put the fries in the bag, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Time to get this motherfucking bag. Yeah, put my groceries back in the bag, you fucking CVS worker. Sorry, no hate.
Yeah, no. No, it is funny though. Yeah. No, that's always, I've felt like this for a while. So I feel like part of what has kept, not to brag, but part of what has kept me sharp.
Oh, he bragging.
Part of what's kept me sharp as an artist, and I'm sure you can relate, is it's like some of these artists, they get rich at like 20 and they're just like set. And then the stuff they make is just about how good their life is. And there's no struggle in it anymore. That happens to a lot of like the biggest artists, if you think about it.
Yeah.
But for us, we've had this extended period of struggle, and it has created like, it fucking sucks, but it keeps us sharp and relatable to the common man, where it's like,
true.
Like, we know we're still going through what they're going through. All these rappers talk about the hood and stuff. It's like, you ain't been there in like 20 years, bro.
Exactly.
I'm still in the hood.
Exactly. Get out of here.
I'm still here.
I think they try to see it in a sense of trying to be relatable to like the common man, but it's like, yeah, you haven't been in the hood for, I mean,
a lot of them have not been in the hood in like 20, 30
I'm gonna
years.
get shit for this, but I really don't give a fuck. But I mean, she has a pretty voice. She is somewhat musically talented. Billie.
I seen a backlash on her about her urban fashion. Have you seen that?
Yeah, a lot about it.
And honestly, I did think that was funny, because it's like, this is someone that's been critical of hip hop and shit, and it rubbed me the wrong way when she was like, all these rappers are just making up stories, and it's like, oh, but you're using hip hop.
See, that's the thing, is she's saying and doing this shit. I'm like, girl, you fucking. To me, she's just another white woman that thinks she can get away with bullshit. Like, I'm just like, and you guys are just feeding into it because she's young.
She's a young girl. Yeah, she's exactly. I wasn't even thinking of her. That's exactly the type of person I'm talking about.
Yeah, she's just a young girl that like thinks that she can speak some pretty privilege, and I'm just like, bro, because okay, one, like, everyone has their own battles and traumas. Everyone has something that they're doing. Everyone does. So don't get me wrong. But like, I mean, think about it in the sense that she was a 16-year-old girl. Her brother fucking made her famous by giving her like this fucking crazy audio engineering.
Yeah.
She's had parents that love her, not fucking hate her.
She's also a Nepo baby.
She's a Nepo baby. On top of that, she's pretty much can get any man that she wants if she really wants to. And then she talks about shit like breakups and all this other stuff. I'm like, what real struggle have you actually even been through? Like, honestly, like, sorry, I know that sounds egotistical and people are going to be like, well, you don't know her. You can't say that. It's just like, but seriously, like, what real struggle has she been? She's been pampered all her life. Like, she's like, her brother has been her biggest supporter. She's had her.
She hasn't lived like a normal person.
Her parents have given her support. Like, no one hates her like on that side of it like that. Like, who knows what else the fucking else you're gonna say to this bitch? She's gonna be like, my life's so hard. Like, your life's nowhere near it. And then you're saying shit like that about hip hop artists, and I'm just like, you don't have nothing about the culture that you actually know behind it.
Yeah.
And then she was wearing, like, I mean, I guess in the anime community wise, she was wearing shirts and, like, I mean, to me, I'm like, you're a fucking poser. She's wearing like anime shirts and doesn't even know what the fuck she's wearing. And she's just like, oh yeah, I'm just wearing it because I was like given to me or blah, blah, blah. It looks like a certain way and I like that style. It's like, great that you like fashion, but like, if you're wearing shit, you don't even know where it's from. Like, do you really want to call yourself like you're fucking like supporting the fucking cause here? So
yeah,
I'm sorry. She has a great voice and all, but I'm just like, she's a person I feel like it's just like, you don't know what you got because you've just been like pretty much privileged the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
It's like an early Kanye. Like, it's just like someone needs to slap you because you're literally acting reckless right now.
I think it's a little gimmicky too. Like, she's not a bad singer, but it's always like the like that whole like you know like the echoey like whispery thing.
People edge for that. That's called edging, dog.
Yeah, like that like this is a hot take. That Barbie song is too goddamn long. It gets old as fuck. Like
what about the Ken song?
After like a minute or even less than a minute. Like,
what about the Ken song?
The Ken song?
Yeah.
Well, you can never get enough of that.
Yeah, enough. Stupid.
No, but yeah. Like I'm playing around. But honestly, I was like, damn, this song is like 3 minutes or almost 4 minutes. Like this is like really long for this.
Really?
The same sound.
True.
For that
same
song,
sound.
I'm saying.
I really do like long songs, but if they change it up, like I miss like 5 to 6 minute songs.
Well, yeah, don't get me wrong. Most of my songs are like that long, but I was saying like for that whispery like over piano thing, like that shit feels like a long time.
Oh yeah, unless you're like doing some kind of mantra of like a sonata where you're actually doing like a piano or solo or something, it has to change up. There has to be a change.
There's not enough change.
The Good, the Bad, and the Queen, when they did that 3-part change up, we did that. We did a 3-part change up, and then fucking like MGMT with Siberian Breaks, like that has like a 4 or 5-part change up. Like there's different progressions that go through it, so that makes it like a fucking very great song. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean that's totally different. You know, I feel like there's a lot of artists like that, like Runaway by Kanye. I'm gonna get shit for this. That song does not need to be 12 minutes or however fucking long it is.
I like that song, but until he gets to that ending 3 minutes,
like it goes on too long.
Well, that ending like 2 minutes of him singing auto-tuned, I'm like, this is horrible. Like I shut it off at some point.
People will say it's like some masterpiece. It's like it's a cool song
because people
it's
love.
Too long.
I mean, there's a lot of shit that goes into it recording wise. Don't get me wrong, like there's all that craft, but people are so easily succumb to like something so primitive. Here's the thing: we don't see it as like a regular audience member now. We see it as artists. So we like see that we're not hating. We just know how much comes with it. And then like so many people, it's just that you guys are so foolish. Like you guys are so foolish to be like believe in something that's just like so easy to make. And like this is a masterpiece. The gods make this shit. And it's just like you really don't know like how simplification kind of works.
You're skipping that last. Couple
minutes. Like it's just like people are just like, oh my god. This is amazing. This is God work. Like this is like, and just like you praise things so much, so it's just like, that's great that you do, that you give it love, but like you're just so easily fooled. Like it's the same people that believe in Fox News a lot of the times. Like it's just like you're so gullible to believe in such shit and then talk shit about it later.
Yeah, and it's like I feel like there's a part of people's brains where they want to feel like they're where they want to feel like they get art, like they're artistic.
Yeah.
Like, so something like that where it's like, oh, this is meant to be artistic, so this is good. Or like, this is meant to be sad, so it's good because it's therapeutic. And it's like, just because something is meant to be a certain way doesn't mean that it is actually that way.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, it's like you don't have to make everything super crazy catastrophe artwork piece. Like, I live by a rule called simple yet complex. The simplicity comes in the fact that it can be so simple, but the complexity comes with how it's played and what it's foretelling in that sense. Like Deadmau5 said, like the majority of masses are fucking stupid, and like he knows this because he's that big of an artist. Deadmau5 is one of the biggest DJs ever to hit the planet, but he even knows by like fucking experience that like the masses are just fucking dumb, so you have to make dumb shit in order for them to fucking captivate on it because they're gullible. He's like, if you make shit too polyrhythmic or too much like interference, like people can't catch a beat and then they're thrown off and then they start talking shit, or then they start like upset because it's not dumb enough for them to get. Like you have to dumb it down in order for them to be like, oh, this is awesome, this is lit, this is crazy. It's like it's not even that fucking good, dude, honestly.
Yeah,
that's why too, like a lot of times people are just always like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like people are like, this is so hard, this is so heavy. I'm like, it's really not. Like it's really like as soft as it could fucking be in my ears, honestly. So
and then there's the other end of it where people like stuff just because it's complex, but it actually sounds like shit.
Yeah.
So there's like that whole other element.
There's two sides of the two sides of the same coin. It's just that you have to find this balance in the middle. That's all life is just balance.
It is balance for sure. Yeah.
The crickets agree.
Yeah, like there's still, I'm all for making something meaningful and complex, but music still has to be fun to listen to. Man.
Yeah, dude.
It's like sometimes some people just abandon that. It's like, no, I'm just gonna make this as complex as I can. Like fuck all of that, and then people will eat that up, and I'm like, this is actually fucking torture to listen to this.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Some of it's kind of cool, but like, yeah, for the
I'm
most
not
part,
saying all of it. Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's all like give or take.
Yeah,
honestly.
There's definitely stuff where I'm like, you literally just made this to seem complex.
Yes, exactly.
It's not actually good.
Horrible.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny though.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We're
element.
not shitting on your favorite artist. We're just trying to say, it's a different thing. Like, here's the thing.
Balance.
My professors taught me, especially in film and also when I was attending school for music in UCLA and also at SAE Institute, is that like when you become part of this, I mean, you can become a great admirer for music. You can learn about it. You could research it. You could study it like in your own time. But like, if you're not an actual student to it, and if you're not actually putting yourself in the perspective of doing all this shit, like playing shows, playing instruments, going out and doing this, like, is it's your craft. Once you go through that route, it kind of ruins music and art and film for you in a way, because you don't see it just as an audience member now. You're seeing it as a creator and you're finding a deeper love and meaning with it. But that's the thing. It ruins it for you in a sense that you have a closer connection with it now, because you know how it's made, you know how like what comes with it and how much like, forceful efforts put into it and how much you suffered over it. And then it also makes you have a greater appreciation for shit that's like, oh shit, like that's so fucking cool. Like they put that, and it influences you, it inspires you. It's amazing. But then like, if you're sitting there like kind of just like thinking that everything's amazing, I'm just like, no, you gotta like learn, what kind of comes with this shit. So
that is true. It's a double-edged sword, because knowing all that you know and having as much experience as you do, and all that, it makes stuff not as impressive sometimes, and then other times it makes it more impressive.
Exactly.
So it's like it really is like a catch-22.
Yeah, dude, it's
like,
insane.
Like average music will be boring to you.
Yeah.
But stuff that's like over the top, like amazing in your view, is just, you're gonna appreciate it on a deeper level.
I mean, I think it comes with all aspects too. Like, okay, for instance, like same with sports, like you can analyze a sport, you can know the numbers, you can know the players, you can know the percentages, and you can know the statistics of it all. But I feel like if you never actually really played it, if you never put yourself on the defense or the offense side of it, like, do you really know what you're talking about? You don't know, like, the atmosphere, the tunnel vision, the fucking stamina, and the shit that comes with it as a person, like, to put yourself in that situation. Like, you don't know. Like, you can know as much as you possibly can, but unless you've actually played it
in the field
and put yourself in the position of it, then you're like, oh, this is a whole different aspect, dude. Because you could say it as much as you want, like they should do this and this and that. Like everyone becomes like a backseat coach, a backseat producer. Like they should have did this. It would have sounded better. It's just like, okay, do it, and see how much of a difference once you're put into this chair, being like, oh shit, you're put in the spotlight. It's all different perspective.
Yeah, see what you can do.
Yeah.
And there is a necessary thing where those perspectives do still matter.
Of course.
But sometimes it is like, all right, you're crossing some lines now. Because there is like that whole balance of like, what does this look like from an untalented person's perspective?
Exactly.
What does that look like? Like, how does this come across?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
How are they absorbing this?
Well, that's like at the very end of the day, this is all made for entertainment purposes.
Yeah,
but like, I mean, it is an outside perspective regardless. So
yeah, or like in sports, like if there's a guy who played sports, maybe there's a guy that's a journalist that knows how to communicate that in that way. So
exactly.
Like, there is, but at the same time, there are a lot of times where I'm like, all right, journalist guy, shut the fuck up.
Exactly, because then it's just it's a hated, biased opinion about basically giving their personal opinion, thinking that they're right about it.
It's funny when they pull those guys' stats. In college, like it's like, oh, this guy averaged like 2 points, and he's like,
because then it gets like personal, and then
Yeah.
like they kind of make it in the sense where they're just like really. I don't know what they're doing, really. It's just them talking shit. For instance, the guy that you like that does music reviews, I hate that guy.
No, I don't like that guy.
Yeah.
No, I don't like his I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I used to find his reviews interesting.
That flat dude from Connecticut that thinks that his opinion's right for everything.
Yeah, I've never really like I thought he did a good job of communicating his opinions. But over time he's just gotten so like fucking biased.
Yeah.
It's like you can't see it. For example, he shits on every Eminem album for whatever reason, but he gave the Sexy Red album like 8 out of 10, and I heard that album and it's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And it's like, and like for anyone, that's one of the funny things to watch. This is a good comparison.
Yeah.
The critical response that Sexy Red has gotten recently compared to what Eminem has gotten.
Yeah.
A lot of critics shit on Eminem. And then you hear her, and it's like some of the worst actual rapping I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's like there's nothing clever about it.
That's the one with the new Drake
sucks.
feature, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The flow sucks. There's nothing clever about it, and it's just like it's not good in any way.
Have you heard the new The Death of Slim Shady?
Yeah, I heard it.
How was it? No, I haven't heard it yet.
I like it. I think it's interesting to watch because I feel like it's probably the best album that he's made of like the last few. But like it's funny to watch just how much people hate him now.
Yeah.
And it's like
because he brought Slim Shady back. That's why.
But it's interesting to see these critic reviews and they'll praise some shit where it's like, how could you possibly think that this is good and then this is bad? It's cool if you don't like it, but like it's just weird because from a technical perspective, what he does on there is pretty crazy still.
Yes.
Like you know how he raps. It's like not a lot of people can do that.
Yeah.
You know, and for him to just blow Jid out of the water on a track is crazy because
Jid did really fucking good though. I did hear that track.
Yeah.
That track was amazing. Jid did really fucking good.
Like you heard his verse and you're like, oh damn, and then you hear Eminem's verse and it's like, oh yeah, there's still levels to this shit.
Yeah.
You know,
because there was a point where I was like, okay, there was a point where I heard Jid's verse and I was like, he might even outdo Eminem on this track. Yeah. And then I heard his, I was like, fuck, never mind. Like it's just like there's just two sides of the coin. Where I'm like, they're okay. Like he Jid stepped it up, and everyone's like, cool. I'm glad that you did that. And I was just like, okay, like awesome. That's kind of crazy.
Which said a lot because it's hard to out rap Jid. I actually thought J. Cole out rapped him on that Off Deeds track.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one.
Yeah, but it was closer.
See, that's what I mean though. Like J. Cole has a caliber to do that shit.
It's weird.
And then you get grippy.
Yeah. It's like I think he's better at features a lot of times. It's weird.
Cole, he has some pretty good standalone tracks. I liked Amari. I really liked the Off Season. The Off Season was a really good album.
You know
I really liked it a lot.
I can't find too much to dislike about it, but it just doesn't hit for me. It's weird.
Off Season?
Yeah,
I liked it a lot.
But I can't say it's like bad. It's just like I don't know.
To me, it felt more hip hoppy for him. I don't know. It just felt hip hoppy, and I was like, I like it.
It's like it's missing some spark or something.
Maybe
all of his work to me is just like it's not that it's bad.
You didn't like Grippy?
No, not Grippy. Yeah, no, that was bad. Grippy.
Yeah, Grippy. Yeah, so my bad, son.
No, I mean there's verses where I think he's impressive, but it's not. It's like it's not enough. Or I don't like his beat selection, or it's just like the full product of it to me is just like it just feels like somebody doing an impression of a good rapper, but like having none of the personality. Does that make sense?
I guess, yeah.
It's like bland. It's bland. There's nothing really wrong with it, but it's just not interesting. I don't know.
Maybe I like some of the albums.
But I don't think he's bad. I think he's good for this era. I think that this era is so bad that it makes him look great sometimes because it's like these guys are so fucking bad.
He did show Dr. Dre Kendrick Lamar though. Like yeah, that wouldn't have been a thing unless J. Cole really like kind of pushed him to go there. Yeah,
that's what they say. Yeah, I think Kendrick always had some buzz.
You know? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's like I mean, I knew about Kendrick Lamar before.
You know what? I'm surprised that this new Eminem album didn't have. It was a fucking D12 feature.
He did have Bizarre.
I know, but that's it.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. I know they kind of had a falling out, but I mean, D12 isn't even D12 anymore because Proof died a long time ago. So it's like, Proof was the second best member of the group. Yeah, you know? So it's like,
I think it was entertaining though to see.
D10
well, especially like to bring Slim Shady back into such an era that would be so against a man like that. Like, that's like a true villain to be like in this time era right now. But at the same time, that's what we need. Honestly.
Yeah. And like his beats are just always going to be hit and miss for me. Like there's sometimes where it slaps and like it's, you know.
I know sometimes his beat selection, I'm like, really? And I'm like, okay.
He does a lot of his own production. And a lot of times, especially early on, it was great. But now I'm like, bro, just get Primo. Do an album with Primo.
Yeah, that would be fucking wild.
Just something like, I'd like to hear him over like some straight hip hop shit. I think would be cool. Because I'm tired. That whole sound is like that's what's actually holding him back sometimes. It's like that whole like the dark Eminem sound of beats. Like I don't always like that shit. Or like I like whenever he has features from girls on the hook where it's like a poppy type of thing, I don't really fuck with that sound. Like the rapping's good and all that, but
that's funny that you mentioned Primo because I forgot that he was on the Compton album.
Oh yeah,
I forgot that to have Dre and fucking Primo in one room is pretty fucking monumental, dude. That's pretty because they're both DJs, so it's just like, oh shit, that's pretty heavy to have both those dudes in one fucking room together. Because one, Primo does not do features that much, and to have that motherfucker in the room with like Dre is like, oh fuck, that's fucking crazy.
Honestly, when I started doing rap, I always thought like, oh, it's Dre on the West Coast and it's Primo on the East Coast. I always saw them as like, that's like the top two ever.
Exactly.
Know? So yeah, and it probably still is kind of like that.
Yeah. You know? I don't know. I mean, I still have yet to hear the fucking Death of Slim Shady album, but I heard it was pretty good. So
I think you probably would like it more than there's people that love it for sure. But yeah, there's some people that just like.
What was the one before this?
Music to be Murdered By.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was cool too. And like Kamikaze was cool.
Kamikaze, I remember. That was pretty cool.
And Revival's the one that like no one likes. But even that had some moments on it.
It did. I remember when I was a teenager, or not.
Oh, you're thinking of Encore. Yeah.
Not Encore, Revival. Was that the one where he's like talking to the devil and like him? There's like one where
Revival isn't that old. Revival's like,
which one is
that? Is the one before Kamikaze. Encore is the one where it's like super goofy.
Oh my god, everyone remembers that.
But the thing on that album is like, I thought about it. I think I told you.
Wait, I'm thinking about Relapse. I think Relapse is the one with all the pills. In the front of the,
Relapse.
I think I'm thinking about that one.
I like Relapse more than most people. I get the accents can get annoying. That's why people don't like it. But it's all Dre beats, so it's like it's not going to be bad.
Recovery. Yeah, there's a track with Dre and 50 on the newest one, right?
On
The Death of Slim Shady?
I can't remember. I know Dre's on there. I don't think 50's on there actually.
Really? I thought there was a track with both of them, like Dre, 50, and Eminem. I was like, oh, that's a callback to the trio
back like then. some bonus track. What's funny is I heard some of the bonus tracks and they were better than some of the tracks on there. He had one with 2 Chainz that was like weirdly fire.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like that one was cool, and I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes artists don't pick the right tracks on the.
I saw that Big Sean was on it, and like I felt like I feel like he has a lot of love for Big Sean because Big Sean's from Detroit, obviously. Yeah. But I'm just like, oh yeah, he kind of still fucks with him a lot. So
yeah, that track was pretty cool.
I heard he's been taking shots at Kanye lately.
Yeah, I know he doesn't like Kanye.
Yeah, there's a lot going on where he's taking shots at Kanye, and I'm like, ooh, like okay, that makes sense though.
Yeah, Eminem took some shots at
Kanye
actually on the album.
Really?
Yeah, a couple.
Well, Kanye said too that like Big Sean was the weakest link out of fucking like out of good music, and I was just like, that's kind of heavy. But I'm like, that sucks.
Is he the weakest? I'm trying to think who's on there. I mean, he's weaker than Common, so
yeah.
I guess he's weaker than Kanye on a mute. I don't know. I guess on a
he's gotten better. I would say Big Sean has gotten better as an artist.
He's weird. He can be super corny, but he can also have like a great verse.
I think
he has a verse on the Larry June album with Alchemist. He has a fucking really good verse on there.
Yeah, see?
Out of nowhere.
Exactly.
But then he'll have shit like, she touched my groin and it go boing or whatever. Like some horrible lines like that.
I do like the universe and plan it out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, shit like that. I'm like, why are you saying this, dude?
He has some bad. That's the thing with punchline rappers are like, they're like knockout punchers.
I don't know. I would say
don't knock you out, they're probably getting knocked out.
I think 2 Chainz is probably like a really weak link on good music.
Was he on good music?
He was on, I think, by association too.
Like Kid Cudi was on there.
Yeah, how Ghostface was like by association, Raycon.
Honestly, I mean, yeah, he might have been the weak link because you're not gonna say Lupe Fiasco was the weak link or Common.
Yeah,
I don't know who else was on there, but that might have actually been kind of true.
Maybe John Legend was on there for a minute.
I know you would say Cudi is better than Big Sean.
You know what? I think younger Cudi for sure was way better than an artist than Big Sean was back in the day. But then like I feel like Cudi now he's just doing whatever the fuck he wants, and I would say that actually Big Sean probably has. I feel like Big Sean has got better lyrically, like over time.
Now he actually probably makes better music
because Kid Cudi just like is just doing what he wants. He's just like singing and whoa and like fucking smoking weed. Yeah, Mr. The professional hummer over here. So he's not really because he used to actually because his older albums he used to do like more hip hop and be more lyrical and like actually like be witty and like there's freestyles of him where he's doing really fucking well and you're like dude like this is really good. And now Cudi is just like chilling, like he's just smoking weed and being a fashion boy. And I'm just like, okay, he's not really doing much anymore.
people get complacent, They
Yeah,
get, like
fucking the newest album that came out with his Rebirth or whatever the fuck it's called. The newest album he just came out with. I'm like, oh, this guy's just chilling. Like he's just mad chilling. Like he's not Insano. Insano's the one. Oh, look at this black motherfucker. All right, hold up.
Who's there?
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be racist on fucking online. Let's see if we can actually get him over the phone. Hey, can you hear us? Sorry.
I mean, we're almost done here, but
can you hear us? Okay.
Racist.
What are you doing?
Sound very bad.
I'm at Barnes and Noble.
Hey,
Barnes and Noble.
Fuck the white man's books and all that shit.
Yeah, fuck the white man and his books. Dang, you dropped the N-bomb on, dude. You're on air right now. We're fucking doing a podcast.
No, it's all good. I mean, it's fine.
This is why I love him. He's just like, it is what it is.
Barney's and Noble.
Barnes and Nobles. What's good? What's going on? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Special Mars.
Grav and I are just doing a podcast right now. How much time do we got left?
It's 7 now. So, I mean.
It's 7 now?
Yeah. So,
oh, fuck. We already went overboard? Oh, shit. Okay.
We got a couple minutes.
Okay. The fucking special feature from King Mars himself.
We don't want to get cut off, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. As you hear the king himself. But now, I guess we're just wrapping it up right now. We've been here for fucking like 4 hours.
Yeah.
Y'all can girls hit me up after you're done.
Yeah, we will.
All
right. Peace.
Peace.
That was the phone call in from King Mars himself. Okay, let's see. Am I still on live? My bad. Live on TikTok. King Mars, just shut up. So, by the way, on TikTok, since you guys want to see this, this episode will be up on Zero Grav's podcast.
Yeah.
Within probably another 2 weeks. Yeah, next week.
Or I'll see when. Yeah.
Probably 2 weeks from now, right? Something like that.
Yeah, or we'll see. I'll just see when I want to. I'll let you know though.
Yeah. So thank you guys for joining in with us. Honestly, thank you guys for all the lives on Instagram and also on TikTok. Thank you guys for all that showboating love. I know we just got down like a big wormhole of just talking about artistry and shit like that, but this is kind of the B-side to our first episode we recorded earlier. So thank you guys so much for actually joining in and actually hear us spill our emotions out on this BS. And I hope it was actually insightful and kind of educational in a sense. I just don't want it to seem like we're coming into these things with some kind of ambivalence, like we're better or we're artists. It's just more of that. I guess we're just trying to educate the norm at how and trying to hopefully open up some mindsets. And hopefully, honestly, I know this is going to cause some conflictions and arguments amongst people, but I mean, what else in life isn't, it's like all stuff that we all have different opinions. We all have different ways of governing and ruling and what we like and don't like. So, thank you.
We always say some wild stuff.
I know. That's what you mean.
We love everybody,
So that's a very good behalf. So I can't believe we're already over the board, though. We're already over the board.
Yeah. Except women, because apparently I hate them. But other than that,
apparently, according to
I didn't know. I'm sorry. This whole time,
according to every Subaru driver, Zach freaking hates women.
Yeah, you know what? Just for that, I'm going to animal shelter. I'm slapping up all the animals in there.
Yeah.
Just for that, no rescues.
Yeah. Oh my god. Do you have any final notes or final words for our viewers?
Well, thank you for coming on, of course, and it's always a pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you for cucking.
Thank you for cucking, everybody. No, thank you for coming on. Thank you to everybody for listening, and just honestly, I guess the most important thing I could say is just keep the art alive, man. But for real, keep it alive, support real artistry, pick up a damn instrument and play it, maybe. Some tambourines and stuff white people like.
Yeah, some badass.
Some badass, something like that. But that's really all I got, man. I love art. I know New Jack loves art, and we just really want to see it flourish. So
yeah,
if you are that artist that I was talking about earlier that's afraid, reach out. Let me talk you through it. I know it could be scary to put yourself out there, but remember, the public is afraid to express themselves like that,
Yeah.
So if you made art in any capacity, that's a brave thing to do, and I salute you for that.
Exactly.
So yeah, much love to everybody, and I think, this is a place as any to end it. You got any words?
I don't have any words, honestly. I think that was just a very good intuitive message that we gave to everybody. I hope that someone took something out of that. We got to go get our favorite Easy Out burger.
Oh yeah, shout out to Easy Out Burger.
Shout out to Easy Out sponsorship, along with fucking Chuck Norris Sea-Force Water.
Yeah,
Sea-Force Water from Chuck Norris, and also Easy Out Burger, sponsored by this episode, or vice versa. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know.
But yeah, no, I think that was an interesting subject. I honestly always think we could always go longer, but thank you,
we could, yeah.
Pirate Studios, for fucking pulling through and actually letting us be able to record.
Yeah,
here.
This almost didn't happen.
So
they canceled it, but we're back from the dead.
Like Wayne Brady says, they try to cancel my show and shit gets crazy, son. So yeah, thank you guys so much for everything.